7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
What's up, everyone? This is Bill. Today I got a video review for you and installation video. People over at MSX125accessories.com have been gracious enough to send me out a pair of rear sets to do a review on and an installation video on. I'm doing my best to do this video justice, and we're going to try to get these installed, and we'll go back through a couple things. So make sure you check out video number 1. These come completely disassembled. You're going to have to assemble them somewhat before you go to put them on the bike. Okay, so this video is video number 2, and we're going to get them on the bike. So we'll go outside and take a look at the stock ones. As you can see, these say on their website, version number 4. Okay, and there will be a link in the description. The brand is GENMA, G-E-N-M-A. Okay, and there will be a link in the description to go purchase these. They are just a little over $100. So we'll go take a look at the bike, the stock ones, and I'll show you how you get those off. It's pretty simple. Okay. So you're going to be removing, you're going to be starting over here. Okay, but if you come around to the other side, this is where your bolts are. So we're going to be removing these 2 bolts. We're going to shove a bar or a long screwdriver through there after we take that nut off. And we're going to leave this side assembled like it is. And then we're going to come around to the other side. This side is going to come off because that bolt's going to come out. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. So the first thing we're going to do is disconnect that shifting linkage in there. Okay, as we won't be using that linkage setup anymore. We'll be using the one that came with the new rear sets. Okay, so that'll be the first thing to do, is to get this off the bike on this side and start assembling. Okay, so make sure when you're doing this, you see I use jack stands under this brace right here. Same on the other side. I have it on the bike lift and the back on the swing arm. Just take some weight off the swing arm and take some weight off of the, or you want to keep weight off. You don't want this compressed, because when you punch this bolt out, it's going to come out. That holds the swing arm up. Okay, so remove that 19mm bolt. Then we're going to punch a bar all the way through until that bolt comes out the other side. Okay. Okay. So you can use a long screwdriver, like what I have. This bar, it's roughly the same size as the axle and the rest of the bolts. And a hammer. It's going to get loud. It's going. Like so. Okay. We didn't lose any parts. Gotta go nice and fast. One clean shot right through. And there you go. There's our bolt. There's our bar. Now we're gonna undo this bottom bolt. Undo the linkage. And the goal here would be to get that off on this side. Okay, so you'll loosen this 10mm bolt on the shift linkage that clamps it onto the actual shifting mechanisms, the rod sticking out of the motor. Okay, then you're going to remove this 12mm bolt, which is right here. You're going to take this guy off carefully and get that linkage to come off with it. And it's not wanting to come loose, of course. It is not wanting to come off of there. Yeah, you're supposed to be loose now. Well, it should come loose, but this is not wanting to. And also make sure that the bike is in neutral when you're doing this, so you can adjust the linkage properly. Let me put it back together. I'm gonna figure out another way to get this guy off. Okay, just grab yourself some pliers. Give this thing a little wiggle and a little tug. I pulled the bolt all the way out just to make sure. And there it is. Put this bolt back in so we don't lose it. Okay, so there's all that. I'll set that aside. This is the wideband sensor. Hopefully it's not going to be in the way. Okay, so these are going to be your mounting points for your new assembly. So let's grab that. Okay, left hand side. Here's our assembly. And our spacers, don't forget your spacers. The large spacer is going to go at the top. Short spacer is going to go here at the bottom. Okay, you're going to reuse this factory bolt. Yep. Okay. So, the way it goes on, rod here, our factory bolt's gonna go back through. It goes on like this. Here's your shifter. You're gonna adjust the position of your shifter based on the length of this rod and the positioning of this on the spline. Okay, and that is also going to depend on where you decide to mount your rear set. So your main thing would be to bolt this guy on. Okay, because this can go on afterwards. And it does fit perfect. Okay, so we need to hang this down out of our way. We need to get this back behind here with our 12mm bolt. Okay, like so. Okay, so before we do that and put all that on, we're going to take the time to undo the peg bolt. We're going to put some Loctite on the back of that. We're going to undo this bolt. We're going to put some Loctite on it. We don't need Loctite on this one. So let's, and the bolts that are mounting the rear set up here, the back pegs. So I'm going to pause and we're going to do that real quick. Okay, so you got everything all tightened down. Everything is Loctited. This is going to sit on here. And we're going to let that rest right there. We get our bolt through. We got blue Loctite on this little bolt down here. We get through our washer, our spacer. Get that guy threaded in there. That is going to be a 12mm. Okay, now remember this bolt here is adjustable, so for now we're going to leave it loose obviously our linkage. What we're going to do is we're going to tighten it all the way up, because the way these work is if you spin this, it can make it longer. Spin it the other way makes it shorter. So we're going to leave this off for now. Okay, I'll leave that off of there for now. And we're going to punch this bolt back through, because we don't want to adjust this until we know we got the proper ride height for our entire peg assembly, which I will probably, you can angle it, you can tip it back, forward, up and down, lots of different spots in here for these two bolts. Okay, so we did not put Loctite on those two. You probably would want to after you get them where you want them. For now, so we're going to leave it. We're going to punch this bolt back through. That's the idea. So let's grab the hammer on the side here. Okay. I do have a rubber mallet to use so I don't damage this bolt or our new rear sets. Okay, so you're going to have to line this up. It might take two people. You're going to hold this swing arm. Basically start punching your bolt that you put through back in there. Okay. Get something that you can hit, because it's going to drop down inside there. Okay, don't forget this bolt is loose, and we're not going to tighten it down until we tighten up from the other side. Okay, so the bolt's back through. Now we're going to move to the other side and pull apart the other side and Loctite all of our bolts on the swing arm, or on the rear set. Okay, so now we've punched our bolt back through. We're going to remove this 12mm bolt. And one thing to keep in mind, while we were punching that bolt back through, this washer fell out. Okay, this washer goes up inside here, back behind here. We'll replace it when we put the new rear sets on. Okay, so we're just, give that a crank. Okay, there's our bolt. 12mm. We're going to carefully slide this guy off of our bolt, and look on the back. You're going to remove these two, looks like 8mm screws. Remove your brake sensor switch. So I'm going to do all that real quick. Make sure you remove all that stuff in order to pull this rear set off. Okay, so you can see how this rear assembly is. Make sure you're taking a picture and have it noted down how this goes together. Okay, this is going to be very important if you end up having to put these guys back together. So we're going to undo this off the cylinder. These two bolts, it's going to pull out. This is going to thread into our new linkage assembly on the new rear sets for our brakes. We also have to get this threaded piece off of here. Okay, we need this whole assembly to come out. It pulls up through once you take the spring off. Okay, so we're going to compare all this to our new set when we go to put it on. Okay, on your brake assembly, you have a 12mm nut that threads that in. If you back that 12mm nut off, what I did is I put it on here on the bolt so I could get some tension on it. loosen it up, then back it all the way up, and you'll be able to spin this right here. Do not damage this. It swivels a little bit. Don't damage it. You'll break fluid everywhere. Our rear set is off. This guy, pull the spring out from the metal piece on the rear set, then slide the spring out of this hole in the end and just work it all the way up. It just snaps in to that hole. Okay, that is your oh, sorry for that. Camera was saying battery's low. Anyway, that is your brake light when you hit the brakes. Okay, so now we're going to put this side together. Okay, one thing to note, I have an aftermarket exhaust on this bike. This piece on this right hand side is to take the place of your stock mounting hole for your exhaust. Okay, so I'm going to take it off. We're not going to use it. If you have the stock exhaust, leave it on there, use it. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Take this piece off of the new rear set. Okay, this is going to thread carefully onto your master booster here. So thread that up. Obviously, you're going to have to adjust it. Remember, this is pushing up when you push the rear brake. Okay, you're going to have to adjust it, and then you have two, a 10 and a 12 millimeter adjustable nut to lock it into position. Okay, so take your time doing this when you're adjusting your rear brake. Okay, there's that. Okay, so this is what you should have so far. Everything Loctited down. So you're going to use all Loctite on this bolt. You're going to tighten this down. This is what our end of our cylinder mounts to. All Loctite right here. Loctite here. This spring should look like that. Okay. This. Okay, so this is what the reverse side of this looks like. So this piece, that bolt needs to be down tight, enough room left over for the spring, like I showed in the picture. Okay, this is going to be your assembly for your brake light. Okay, your brake light stock on the bike is going to have this wire on it. You should be able to leave it on there, I believe. Yep. So you're going to push it through. Our brake booster. Up there. Okay, let's go back here. Hang on. Okay, so like I was saying, this is what the back end looks like. This should go to that side of the bolt, so back. Okay, now I found a slight problem that we just ran into here with this whole setup. These bolts that they tell you need, these black spacers, go like this. So the bolt goes through, another one here. This goes through. There is no nuts for these in the set. I'm going to double check, but I did not see any. This piece is not threaded. So basically what I'm saying is this just slides through there and literally just, it sits there. It has to have some nuts on the back of it. So I'm going to look around and see if I can find some. Can't tell me they would make it so it doesn't bolt down. So obviously a mistake somewhere, but we're going to find some nuts for it. Okay, so what I've done is I found a couple, see here, I had to find a couple nuts and lock washers for these two bolts. The set does not come with them, and you're going to have to use them because they have to lock in there somehow, or else your brake booster is just going to move around. Okay, and then you can see back here, this, you're going to tie the spring to it and wrap it down here on this screw right there with that other spring. Okay. Okay, so everything tightened down, everything was locked tight. Like I was saying, I had to find two nuts for these bolts. And this spring just sits here. I bent them around, bent the ends of it around because it is not extremely tight right here. Okay, and you can see this probably looks a lot different. I took this and put it in the vise, bent this 180 degrees so it can be off to that side instead of off to this side, because when you push down on your brake pedal, it needs to be able to pull this straight down. And if it's too far over like this, this is where your bolt goes through with the swing arm and everything, it will hit that. So you will have to do a little modifying to get this system to work from what I've seen. Okay, so let's spin it around and get it bolted up. Okay, so now we got everything tightened up, as you can see here. So you are going to have to manipulate the springs and that plate that your brake switch goes to. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You are going to need to find two nuts that fit these long bolts. Again, this is a 2018 Honda Grom, and apparently it does not fit perfect. With a little modification, you can get it to look pretty damn good though. Okay, so here's the other side. Again, Loctite on these, Loctite on these, Loctite on these. Loctite here. Everything's bolted down tight. Shifter, you got an adjuster and rod here. So as you adjust this, see there, that would bring your shift lever up and down. Okay, so you have to play around with it. You want to tighten these nuts up so it stays nice and tight on that bar. Okay, and I did take, this comes with an Allen head to go inside here. So let's see. On up in here, there's an Allen head on the one that it comes with. I took the Allen head off and used the factory bolt, the grub screw that goes through there. And remember, that bolt has to come all the way out before the shift lever will come off, because it has a groove in the spline here that the bolt slides across. But the Allen head would be too tight to get up inside there. Okay, so we'll get her off the jacks, but here's how it looks. Okay, so that is the rear set version 4 from MSX125accessories.com. Again, there will be a link in the description to go purchase this. It looks pretty damn sharp on there. Anyways, big shout out to MSX125accessories.com and zeedparts.com. Go check them both out. Again, links in the description. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Have a good day.